I'm Nathan Young, owner of Mods PDX Inc., modular manufacturer in Portland, Oregon. We recently finished the EDISON. The EDISON is a building that we developed in a modular format to go in St. John's, Oregon. The concept of being modular was one that we knew we were going to do from the very, very beginning of the project, and it's the only way we want to be building as we move forward. The benefit of building modular is also that it's a circle environment, so instead of standard construction that's very linear where you have to pour the foundation and then you frame it and then you do the next component, we're actually working in tandem, so you can see that the site is being constructed and the foundation's going in at the same time that we're building the building in the factory. So the dynamics of having two different locations going at the same time really allows for us to have a speed that you can't get in a standard construction. So in the factory we have several different framing stations where we frame up the walls in a certain area and utilize our overhead cranes. So we have two different build sections where we're building the products away from where the floors actually are and then bringing them into position, and so everything's getting framed up on framing tables, and then we use overhead cranes and forklifts to move them around. In the factory environment, we work as a team, so we don't have sub mentality where we have a guy that's coming in to work. He's coming in to be part of a team, which means anything that anybody can do in front of him, they're going to try to do to help facilitate his process. The other benefit of working indoors is we're not constrained by weather. So if there's a really rainy day, we're not going to be stopped in the factory. We might be stopped on site, but we're able to keep the production level moving. Even if it's snowing, it doesn't snow inside the facility. The modulars are finished to about 85 to 90%. So the exterior, we've got all the windows set, the windows are trimmed. The interiors are finished to about 90%. So the hardwood floors are in, the cabinets are in, countertops are in, everything's in them. The appliances are actually in the units, but they're still in the boxes so that we can get them installed, which is a really nice deal on a second floor or any elevated structure, because then you're not moving your appliances up the stairs. So we try to get everything put into the boxes when they leave that you're going to need to finish them up. With the EDISON, we were very fortunate because we actually developed that project within about 5 miles of our site. So as we started to look at transporting the mods, we had very limited distance to travel, but even in that limited distance that we had to travel, we still had to navigate all the roads because the boxes are 15 foot 6 by 69 foot 2 by 11 feet tall, and they sit up on a trailer that makes them about 14 feet tall, which is your max height. So as we're moving them down the road, we have to have a number of pilot cars that run in front and close down all the streets. So as you're coming through an intersection, because the boxes are so big, you're taking up both lanes. As you make your transportation routes, you have to make sure that you can navigate all the corners and be able to get around a corner and that there's no cars parked there. So there's quite a bit of work that goes into prepping that day, but it's also kind of the culmination of the whole project. When you get to move the boxes, it's pretty exciting because you're moving 50,000+ pound boxes down the road that are 70 feet long, and people are a little amazed at seeing that transportation process happen. So the big day of the set, we've got all the boxes moved the night before, the cranes getting into position, and then we'll have a number of guys there that are doing different jobs, whether they're doing what's called rigging. So they're setting up all the rigging that's going to actually sling the boxes into position. On the EDISON, we actually had to spin the boxes in the air to get around a tree to bring them in because of the way we had to position them on the street. So then there's guys that are doing the setting, which are then positioning the building right down onto the foundation and making sure that it's on the lines where it needs to go, and then the next box is going to fit and that we've got all the right connections done. When you're running a crane, the crane is fairly expensive, so you want to make sure that everything's moving as quick as possible. And so you have to have a well-tuned group of people that have worked together. We've worked with PJ at Bent Level for a number of years, setting a number of modulars, and so all of our guys are very accustomed to what needs to happen, and his guys are very, very well trained, which is very important when you're spinning a 50,000+ pound box above your head and landing it within a 1/4 inch of where it needs to go. And so you have to have good crane operators, and everybody has to have very good communication skills. Once the EDISON is set, we had designed the EDISON so that it would have a a standard roof on it, because one of the limitations with modular is height and transportation, so you can't get a super tall roof. So we had designed the Edison to be a fairly craftsman type looking building with a hipped roof and overhangs, good overhangs on it. We start to add the roof to it and bring the character of the finished product together. You start to see the building take shape, and it's no longer quite so boxy, but that's done with good design work and good attention to detail on site. The Edison is an interesting building because we wanted to help shift the paradigm of modular. A lot of people think of modular as being something of a lesser construction techniques or lower quality materials. The Edison has solid surface countertops, quartz countertops, real hardwood floors. The building is built to essentially a passive house standard, so it's very well constructed, and we control air movement and minimize energy loads. So the building will run 70% less energy than code, which means over the long haul of the building, the carbon footprint is significantly less, which is another benefit of modular construction. You have a lot less waste. So if we can incorporate that less waste in the building process and then higher energy efficiencies, we can essentially build a better product over and over again.